Goofballs, AFPC. I am one of your hosts, Kenneth Arthur. With me every week, it's Johnny Schwartzbein. Johnny, talk about the Eagles. How are they?
Pathetic, sad state of affairs over in the city of brotherly glove because they can't get a handle on their season. Tying the just abysmal Cincinnati Bengals, two teams looking like neither one of them wanted to win or lose, so they decided the gentlemanly thing to do would just be to tie.
Yeah, I I keep forgetting that there was a tie this week. Which is probably for the best. Did you even have a chance? I didn't really see the overtime.
Yeah, with 19 seconds left in the overtime, Eagles had a shot at a 59-yard field goal try by Jake Elliott, which promptly a backup offensive lineman got a false start penalty on the field goal attempt, which puts them back to the 65-yard attempt, which Doug Peterson didn't even want to try because he would give up maybe field position for the Bengals to come back and try and win it. So he just punted it away.
Yeah.
And didn't they get a delay of game too, or was that after to make the punt?
I think so. I think they purposely took a delay of game, but just kick a 64-yarder. I don't care.
Yeah,
win or lose it.
Yeah, it's hard to play for a tie. The NFC East still has two collective wins. And speaking of the NFC East and no wins no wins. Let me go over to my other host here. He is jotting down some statistics at the moment. Andrew Grace, how are the Giants?
The Giants are in great position, Kenneth. They are in great position. The Giants are going to go 0-16. This is the game plan. They're going to go 0-16.
This is good.
Daniel Jones is going to play just good enough to be traded for a decent offensive lineman. And Trevor Lawrence of Clemson is going to be the New York Giants quarterback next year. And the Giants are going to win so many Super Bowls. And it's going to be great. But just who even wants to be good right now? It's like we're going through a pandemic. Who cares, So the Giants are just playing it right. Danny Jones has got to play just good enough to have enough trade value for a decent offensive lineman. And then Trevor Lawrence is going to come in, and we're going to hopefully – there's a lot of bad teams in the NFL right now, but hopefully we can be the worst.
Hopefully you can be the worst and not put together any sort of run in that awful division to make the playoffs.
No, the Giants will have – I'm going to call it now. The Giants will have one more win, no matter the record, one more win than the Jets. They have to. I mean, they play the Redskins – Washington football team, and the Eagles.
Whoa, we have to – okay, let's start from scratch. All right,
that.
We'll come back and we'll start over. Goofballs. Again, we've done this every week. We have to start over because Johnny says that word. And, this time
felt intentional.
Yeah, we'll push through it this time. Everyone said that the Miami Dolphins would definitely be the worst team last season, 0-7 start and their terrible start. So I'm giving the Giants a chance here to pull it out in the end. And speaking of Daniel Jones getting traded, maybe our next guest on Goofballs would happily take him off your hands from his old GM, Dave Gettleman, and make a nice little swapperoo. But he apparently is very happy with Teddy Bridgewater, I suppose, because he told me not to say anything negative about Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know if he's throwing those deeper passes yet, but let's welcome our guest, Andrew Lindh, Carolina Panthers fan.
Yeah, well, you could say that was more about because you diss Cam so much, but
we'll get to
I don't know how to feel about Teddy because he seems like less accurate. I was told he was like super accurate, but he just doesn't throw it far. But he throws a lot of weird balls, and I'm just like, who was supposed to catch that? I thought your whole thing was that you get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that was my nickname in high school. Weird balls.
Now, why were so many people seeing your balls, Johnny?
Locker room.
Okay, good. Yeah. One of those.
That must have been really tough. That must have been really hard to go through.
Yeah, but they are weird, so
Mm-hmm.
See, I feel like the Panthers are in a weird position because I too was. It's like we're not really that bad. Like the defense is pretty bad, but it's like they drafted all these people, so maybe they're gonna gel. I don't know. And the offense is actually pretty good. So it's like as much as I was like, oh, we should tank and try to get Trevor Lawrence, there's no way we're gonna be worse than like the Jets or the Giants or you know what I mean? So they're kind of hope. So every game I watch, I don't know, like, should I root for them to win? Should I root for them to lose? So now I'm like, I guess I want them to win.
You know,
I don't know where
Andrew,
it's headed.
I mean, this is just my personal opinion. Feel free to take it or not take it, but I think there is value to be had in a 6-10 season or a 7-9 season, and any type of season. I think you not necessarily have to be the worst or the best, but that's my thought, and I definitely think the Panthers are probably a 6-10 team anyway. So,
if they end,
if you show
if the
potential.
If the Panthers end the season healthy and happy, I think you should take that as a win.
Matt Rule. I mean, if it sounds like you're positive so far in Matt Rule, if the team is better than you expected.
Well, they're all right, but even like our first game against Oakland, I think we had a similar. It was like 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, and we ran it with the fullback or something.
Uh-huh.
Every time it's like 4th and less than a yard. I don't know why every team in the league doesn't QB sneak. I mean, that shit never doesn't work. Like, when does a team ever just sneak it and not get like fucking half a yard? You just literally just fall under.
Teddy B is not exactly the kind of dude you want to throw in on the QB sneak, though. If there's ever if you need a little push, the dude. I love to have his body type as a non-football player. But the dude's he's a runner. He's a good shaped guy. He's not his knees are happy probably when he jogs because I don't mean scrambler. I mean like he could literally be a jogger. He's pretty skinny dude, right?
I guess so, but Tom Brady isn't his thing like Tom Brady has never not gotten a fourth like a short QB sneak.
I don't know. That has to be
and
one
he's
time.
He's
right?
got a weird flabby body, but it's like
he
the
does.
TB12 thing, but he's
I think
not
his
like
thing is the kissing his son. I think that's his thing.
Yeah,
that's
never
what
not
gives him
kissed his
strength.
son.
Yeah,
You did.
I don't
Johnny?
want it.
I have my own son to kiss. What an adorable boy I have. I kiss him all the time on his little noggin.
Oh, yeah.
Does that give you strength?
Yes. When you smell your own baby's head, it gives you a primal sense of pride and joy.
All right.
It's something to do with the pheromones coming off their scalp. Makes the parents want to connect with them more.
You're talking about kissing him on the head. I think Brady gets a little flack for kissing his kids right on the old lips.
Yeah, no tongue for me.
Yeah.
That's fine for Tom.
Yeah,
His boys, but I'm not going to slip my son the tongue. No.
yeah. Brady does not have a runner's body. Brady has like I do. I have a membership at Soul Cycle, and I rarely use it, body. But I eat pretty healthy. No,
Tom
that's
Brady
Brady.
has like a high school
yeah.
special teams coach body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like,
but he gets the sneaks. I don't know. I was watching I forget what game I was watching. This is great for the pod, but it was like first and goal from like the one. They ran like 3 plays, and I had a player on fantasy who was a running back. So in my heart, I'm like, I want you to give it to the running back, but it's so fucking clear. All you need to do is like, who would that have been? Maybe it was the Chiefs. I don't know.
Was it Cam Newton?
Cam, they would. Maybe it was Cam. I don't know, man.
I feel like they would do something like and try and trip people up and like let's sweep Cam on a bootleg or something silly like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just like if you have any sort of quarterback that is not like glass-like fragile, absolutely QB sneak at 4th and 1. You know what? 3rd and 3, 2 QB sneaks. Why not?
It might work.
They're not expecting it the first time you get 2 yards, and the next time it's just 1 yard.
They're like, you're not going to do it again. Like, this is crazy as hell. But anyway, so it's frustrating because the Panthers. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? It's a good offense, right? I think it's solid receivers.
You're stuck in like a 5-11, 6-10 situation, and it's not like you want to lose games because then you won't find value anywhere on your team by purposely trying to lose. You're going to end up the season with you're going to
Exactly.
find bright spots on both sides of the ball, but you're going to be stuck in a situation where there's not enough other potential to make you feel really hopeful for the next 3 years. So you're going to be coasting in
This is fucking bleak.
the bottom 2 spots in your division for at least the next 3 years until something happens.
Johnny's like a cigarette smoker trying to tell someone to quit cigarettes.
No, but it's also part of the reason is the rest of your division. For the next 2 years, probably the Buccaneers will have Brady and some good weapons. It depends when Breeze retires, but Taysom Hill's right there to just take.
But are they that good? Are the
no,
Bucs
they're
like
not that good, but you're not that bad, and that's the problem. The rest of the division is not that good, but the Panthers are not that bad.
Well, here's the thing. I think the Carolina Panthers, it comes down to a bunch of unknowns, and it'll always be unknown. We can't predict the future. Nobody can accurately tell what's going to happen this season or next. But I think a lot of it has to do with Matt Rule. He's a complete unknown. Maybe he is the right coach. I just started watching this Ted Lasso show on Apple, starring Jason Sudeikis. Yeah, exactly. It's like a lasso with a rope. And it's a football coach that goes over to England and becomes a soccer coach. And there's something to that with just trying to hire the right guy who maybe has principles and a philosophy and brings an attitude to a team, which I think Matt Rule, coming from where he was, it'll be interesting to see what he brings. But a lot of it also has to do with the offensive coordinator, Joe Brady. He's a very young guy. I think he's the youngest coordinator in the NFL. And that's kind of trying to see, can he bring innovation? You got Derek Brown and Brian Burns, could be one of the better defensive line tandems in the NFL, under 22, 23 years old. There's definitely positives with DJ Moore. Teddy Bridgewater is not the guy. Getting rid of Cam Newton was smart. But, yeah, it just comes down to –
You don't like Teddy Bridgewater at all?
He's just not the guy. But if he was on the Saints like he was, if they asked him to win a Super Bowl, he could do it. But I don't think that on the Panthers, he's a good.
Wow.
He's the guy to be there for Carolina.
Because
that's such an interesting take. I like that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, why would he win it with the Saints, you think?
Because he was very adept at running that same offense. Because as you can see this year, again, Drew Brees has only thrown 1 or 2 passes over 20 yards. He's got the lowest average depth of target in the NFL for any quarterbacks. He throws it about 4.6 yards in the air. And Teddy Bridgewater was even lower than him last season in his 5 starts. But the Saints did go 5-0 when he started because he's very good at that small ball. But Drew Brees really can't throw deep anymore. Michael Thomas has been saving him in a lot of ways in the last couple of years, and not just Michael Thomas, but the offensive plan there with crossing routes, and just it's an unbeatable play. And now you're seeing it across the league, where last season Michael Thomas caught 85% of his targets, and people go, that's insane. And it is insane. But this season, look at how many players are catching 85, 80, 75% of their targets, wide receivers. DeAndre Hopkins has got 32 of 37 targets. DeAndre Hopkins could very well break the record that was just set for most catches in a season, and we might see 200 catches by a player.
200 catches?
We might. Alvin Kamara, like there's all these dump offs and all this kind of small ball.
Yeah.
We're seeing there are 10 or 11 quarterbacks right now who have a completion percentage over 70%. Drew Brees is the only quarterback, was the only quarterback to ever go above 70%. There was like 3 quarterbacks in history who've done it, and Drew Brees has 5 of the top 6 ever. And now you have 10 quarterbacks completing over 70% of their passes because they will not miss a pass to a running back or these short passes anymore. The slot receiver has become the most valuable player on the field in many ways, and they just can't. This is why you've got guys like Kirk Cousins who can complete 74% of his passes like he did last season. He was like 72%. And we might see right now Russell Wilson is going to challenge maybe 80%. It's just that's how. Yeah. So Teddy Bridgewater's numbers can look
our defense
fine.
is just worse right now because they
defenses are worse.
Didn't. they didn't have any like practice? Like, is it harder for a defense to come together than an offense that's like
There's a
clicking?
lot of it's really hard to beat an offense at this point because of the rule changes, because of the talent gap that's growing, I think, between receivers and cornerbacks, between the some of the talent gap, maybe even going like to tight end now. The fact that a guy like Rob Gronkowski 10 or 15 or excuse me, like 20 or 30 years ago probably would have been like a linebacker. Maybe he would have been one of the best linebackers. But then as a tight end, he becomes a new weapon. And now you see all these other players. They see Jimmy Graham and they see Rob Gronkowski, and they're big guys, and they say, well, I want catches. I want to be the star. I want to be the touchdown. I want to be that.
Yeah.
Offensive line people. That's why there's not as many good offensive linemen as there are pass rushers now. People want, if you're a big guy, you would rather have the sack than you would just to be some nameless tackle. That'll swing the other way because tackles will be considered more valuable and they'll get more money. And then young players will see that too. But that's the same reason you won't see as many players playing running back anymore, because it's the hardest position to get paid in.
The only thing I disagree with on that, Kenny, is that when you're playing football, like in high school, like you can generally, if you're really skilled, can play the position you want to, or you just play both ways. But like generally speaking, like if you want to go to a big school and they have to use their talent, they will switch your position. They do it all the time in college.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to, you know what I mean? Like they will. I do see what you're saying, but I think offensive lines are just. I don't know. I just think that the offensive linemen. I think it's just teams don't put them together as well as they should.
But what do you think about? What do you think about the spread offense, though, in college football? Isn't the spread offense and these guys, the way they're playing football, like Oklahoma, kind of ruining offensive linemen?
Yes. It's ruining traditional pass block schemes because in the spread offense, you don't have to block for nearly as long as you would in a traditional drop back pass situation. And it's emphasizing offensive linemen who can get on the move, get outside, pull, get out up above the line of scrimmage and block downfield. And you're not getting as many guys who are just focused on pass protection.
Yeah, that's what I had heard too. And it's interesting to see that transition now is some of these quarterbacks, spread quarterbacks and air raid quarterbacks who weren't supposed to have success in the NFL, are top overall picks and are having some success. But then other times, with both Baker Mayfield and now Kyler Murray leads the NFL in interceptions this season so far.
It's early.
Where's Marcus Murray?
Wait, I got a question.
Yeah.
But is it harder for offensive linemen because all these fucking quarterbacks are so agile now? They're moving around. Like back in the day, you just like come back and this slow fucking oaf behind you is just gonna sit back and throw. Now it's like you think you got him, and all of a sudden your quarterback's way over here. Your guy leaves, and you're like, where the fuck you going? You're like, oh shit, this motherfucker ran way over here.
Yeah, it used to be they would call that the quarterback has happy feet, right?
Uh-huh.
And now they don't really call QBs out on that as much because because so many quarterbacks have had success doing that. But I would agree with you, Andrew, because it is like the pocket used to be like a traditional idea of you do your drops, and now you never know where your QB's going. But that being said, there's a lot of just bad blocking, like you see in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. I don't know if he's going to make it through this season. He's just getting annihilated.
Well, I do have a point to make about Joe Burrow, because this was something that I thought I had seen this thing on Reddit where someone was talking about, Joe Burrow's getting killed in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's getting killed, and I'm just like, first of all, okay, so Joe Burrow's been sacked 14 times, and this really plays to the point of statistics and how skewed they are, that people without proper context, they don't give you an accurate picture. Joe Burrow has been sacked 14 times. And Andrew, you made a face, which is fair enough, right? Like, what do you think of 14 sacks in 3 games?
I feel worse about it now that you're about to – I'm guessing he has way more, like, dropbacks than
166 dropbacks. He's got the most in the NFL by far. He's got like 20 more than the next guy. So he's being sacked less times per dropback than 10 or 11 other quarterbacks. He might be more. It might have moved up to 6 or something like that, because he was sacked 8 times in a full 5 quarters, pretty much. 70 minutes of a game. So he was sacked. He had a whole extra 10 minutes to get sacked.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any argument that the Bengals are adequate at, protection but he threw 61 passes in week 2. This is a guy that was not in the NFL and wasn't even a prominent college quarterback until last year, and he's leading the NFL in pass attempts.
That's a great point. That's a great
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Fuck, dude. I take back my face, dude. I feel like an idiot, man.
But
Pretend I went like this. But if you're watching this, you see my face.
Yeah.
I did just a small thing, not to put a whole wrench in your thing, but Dak Prescott has the most attempts.
Oh, well, he's second then. But
yeah,
he had more dropbacks.
By 2 attempts.
But like I said, he has the most dropbacks in the NFL. So
what do you drop back to do?
You drop back, you get sacked, or you scramble. He has 8 scrambles. He has 14 sacks, so you add 22 to the amount of pass attempts that he has.
No, you should have thrown those.
So there is context there, and there's also, I think, just the context of, I think you also have to know that sacks are attributed partly to quarterbacks. We have to know that it's not always on the offensive lineman, like Andrew Lindh, you said, happy feet and moving around and making it more difficult. Well, Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson are the 2 most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. They're also 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Why is this? Well, there's something called, quarterback risk aversion, which just says that Russell Wilson is willing to take more sacks because he believes that he can turn plays into positive gains more often. So he is stretching the time in the pocket. He's stretching the field. He's moving out. He gets sacked more often because he doesn't want to throw it away. As he's gotten older, he has thrown away the ball more often. And I think you'll see guys like Jared Goff or Derek Carr. These are not 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but they never get sacked. And people go, whoa, wow, they got such good offensive lines. And they do, but they also don't take sacks. They throw the ball away.
Yeah.
They throw interceptions. Jameis Winston, Jameis Winston.
What?
I always say it that way. He throws 30 interceptions. It's like you're balancing everything. So Joe Burrow may turn out to be a guy that takes a lot of sacks, whereas Peyton Manning was a guy that didn't, and he was also just maybe the best ever.
Yeah, he also, Joe Burrow, I think to your point, Russell Wilson takes a lot of sacks, but when I watch Russell Wilson take sacks, he knows how to take them. He kind of senses when they're coming, and he'll kind of give up. Whereas I think what Joe Burrow's doing, which is making the offensive line or making the sacks look worse, is he just hasn't played in the NFL long enough. So he's not, he doesn't know
that's
where
that Carson Wentz shit.
Yeah. He's gonna get himself hurt if he that one sack. There was one that I saw on the replays. I didn't watch the game, but he looked like it was like a freaking car accident. And I think a more experienced quarterback would be able to sense that pressure a little more.
Yeah, but also you look kind of silly when you don't try. You don't want your quarterback just sitting down crisscross applesauce because he's afraid he's going to get hit.
Yeah, well, this has been a great debate already, and we're not even really debating, but this has been a good football chat. Maybe this might be the most football-y moment we've ever had on Goofballs.
If this was really a debate, we would interrupt each other way more often and start yelling at the moderator.
Yeah, well, I'm the moderator, so I think maybe. So feel
Can
free
I finish,
to yell.
Kenneth? Can I finish?
Not true.
Okay, well, hold on.
Not true.
Wait, you agreed to come on to the Goofballs, Johnny.
Not true.
You agreed to
Will you shut up? Will you shut up, man? You might be the worst guest that this podcast has ever had.
Okay, what? I am? Okay.
What about your dead son?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Football. Great. Well, every week we do 3 segments, and I have a segment to do, but we are going to take a real quick break, and then we'll come back and we will do our segment.